EGM Network.
Treasure Coast Connector. Connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. This episode is partially sponsored by Libby Weissman and her team at SeniorTransitionNavigator.com and LuxuryHomesOfTheTreasureCoast.com. Libby works with seniors and their families, helping with all sorts of decisions to live a vibrant senior life. And I'm talking about downsizing, decluttering, packing, moving, estate sales, relocation, and more. To speak with Libby and get a free consultation, give her a call at 772-783-2800. Visit SeniorTransitionNavigator.com and LuxuryHomesOfTheTreasureCoast.com. So now we're going to shine a spotlight on a company that truly lives up to its name, At Your Service Employee Leasing. And joining me in the studio today is Lacey Staniewicz, and she presides over marketing. And I also have Abby Brandenburg, and she handles business development. Andy Siegel, the owner, was here, but got a last-minute phone call, and he really needed to take care of a client, and that's quite all right. So we have a lot to discuss because you guys take the stress out of payroll, HR, and compliance. You're providing personalized one-on-one support, and you love helping make complex processes simple.
Yes.
I love that very much. We've got a lot to talk about. So ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Glad to be here.
So Andy felt very bad about it, but sometimes, you really just have to say, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And that's quite all right, because you know what? I don't really want to go anywhere. I want to keep doing this show for 6.5 years. Cindy and I, we're a great team.
Wow.
And he can come back on at another time, right?
Yeah.
So now what I'd like to hear from both of you, and since you're sitting closer to me, Lacey, we'll start with you.
Okay.
I'd like to hear from both of you why you wanted to work in this industry and then for At Your Service Employee Leasing.
That's a big question. But for me personally, small business has always been the center of my consumer activities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the center of your world.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there's a farmer's market, a craft market, an art market, I'm going to go. It's always been something I've taken my kids to. It's something that I love and support. I think that people that step out and take their ideas and turn them into business needed to be celebrated and deserve to have their crafts and their items looked at and purchased. And so for me, going into a small business that works with small and medium-sized businesses was right in my perfect trajectory.
I love that. And how about you, Abby?
So I started off in my professional career working for a larger name company. And, after a while, I really wanted to hone in on the local businesses, small businesses, and really indulge in the community. I always enjoyed helping others, especially in the insurance industry is what I specialize in. And then once meeting Andy and seeing how much he cares about each and every individual client, you can tell there's something really special there. And I'm honored to be part of AYS, just to know that I get to help local business owners day to day with the small things and know that they've always got someone on their side.
Yeah, and you are a problem solver, which is great. With the insurance background, there's a lot of transferable skills to helping people navigate, how they handle payroll and compliance and all sorts of stuff. And with Andy, this is a multi-generational family business. So while Andy didn't start it, he was brought up into it and then was able to take over. So the company's been around for a long time.
A long time.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. But AYS, you're known for, At Your Service Employee Leasing. People think staffing agency. And I've heard the 30-second commercials where you say no. So take turns and explain exactly maybe some of the funny things you've heard and what it is that you guys do?
Well, we essentially, we're like your own personal back office. I like to say we're almost
that's
a
a good term.
mobile HR, where your staff is your staff, but we just get to do all the little things that you don't want to, or that are kind of mundane or too complicated, so that you can focus on, as the business owner, what you do best, which is running your company. Nobody ever signed up for a small business to be like, oh, I can't wait to track hours.
Right.
I don't think.
And calculate, all the taxes and everything that go into.
Maybe AYS started that way, so I probably shouldn't say that. But
of course, no.
But in general, I think that most small businesses didn't start that way.
The dentist, the lawyer, the restaurateur, the restaurateur, all of these different industries, they're doing what they want to do, what they love to do. And somebody has to figure out numbers, and that's where Andy and his family came in, because that's what they loved to do.
Yep.
So payroll processing. We're going to get into workers' comp. What would you like to add to this?
So AYS, we are a professional employer organization, so a PEO. Employee leasing, we bring on our clients into why we work with small to medium sizes. We pool the clients and we bring in that liability so that we get to handle like anything payroll, HR compliance, workers' compensation, as we mentioned, and tax filing. And, at the end of the year,
it just makes it so much easier and cost effective, because I used to be in recruiting and staffing, and I would go into, let's say, a business owner's office, and they have 10 people working for them. They didn't have an HR person. They had an office manager that was trying to figure it out. And then I'm having a meeting with the boss, and he's saying, over the next 5 years, I want to expand it and grow, and talking about how many people they want to bring on. And so if you hire all the HR people that are required for payroll, for benefits, for onboarding, offboarding, all of that, that's a very expensive thing when you're hiring people individually or asking one person to do all that. So by outsourcing to your company, you guys make it all happen, but it is a lot more affordable than somebody putting all of that onto their payroll.
Exactly. And then you don't have that one stressed out person that is on the level of burnout all the time. Yeah. You get to disperse it across all of us.
And as a business development person, because you're promoting what you're doing, you're getting that message out there, and then people are absorbing that message. You start working with them, and then they're like, I bet you the office managers love you. Right? Both of you.
It's like, think of having your local HR partner, your neighbor next door. If you need a cup of sugar, they're there to provide you some.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
We've got everyone. We typically, it depends on what the client wants, but if they want to text us their payroll hours, anytime during the day or night, weekend or not, but we're there. So
that is wonderful. And I don't want to, downplay, competitors, but there are some big companies out there, and every company has their purpose. And for some of those big companies, they want to help the small and medium-sized businesses, but personally, I'm saying this from my own recollection of what people were telling me, is that it wasn't always a good fit.
Right.
So give me a couple of stories, or a story each of you about what it means to work with you guys, because you really are designed for the small and medium size. You can handle the big companies too, but you also know how to pay attention to the smaller companies.
One major thing that I think really made a big impact on me was the ability to budget with the larger companies. Because let's be real, all the payroll companies, we pretty much all do the same thing with a little nuances here and there. We all do payroll. We all have HR. We all get great deals on workman's comp because of our umbrella and policies. However, the difference with AYS is that we have flat rate out the gate, very rarely will your policies change, or I'm sorry, your rates change, unless and until you hire 10 people, 20 people, 30 people. But for a very, well-defined period of time, you will know exactly what you're going to be paying for our services. And that differs based on the big companies because they do a percentage. So the percentage of your payroll is what you're going to pay. Now you can say, okay, my payroll is A, B, and C. It's going to be this much money. I need to budget for that. But if you hire or give a bonus or this or that or paid time off or any of those things that can change that number,
throw it off,
throws off your budget. Right. So with AYS, we have a flat rate fee. Our payroll running services cost a singular fee. So you can budget for that every single month until you're ready to expand your business. And then at which point you've already talked to your point of contact, you know what it's going to be, and then you start to budget for that in advance. And again, that is a singular flat rate fee. We will never charge a percentage. And I think that makes a huge difference, especially for small to medium-sized businesses.
Most definitely. And again, that's why they like you so much, because you go in as the first person that they see and you're telling them about the service. And you don't have to go back and say a few months later, oh, we're changing up everything,
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And another thing, if they had to quickly hire an employee, get through that process, if they have a issue on their paycheck or they see something that's not entered right, they put in the wrong hours, or if they forgot to add someone that they had hired a day before, say there's some type of discrepancy. They're calling the big name vendors. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get an outsourced service call.
Or a computer. Or voicemail. If you're lucky.
Yeah, with AI nowadays, who knows?
But they're getting you.
Right.
They're getting live people.
Yes. So the difference is they're going to get whoever they want to speak with on the team. I mean, we're a small-sized business, so they're point of contact, and you know what? If need be, they've got the CEO on speed dial.
Right.
Oh, very nice.
Yep.
Very
good. Always have access to Andy. Should they need it.
Wonderful. So before we go to break, because Cindy is going to make me take a break, whether we like it or not, give me the phone number and the web address for At Your Service.
Our phone number is 772-360-4195, and our address is www.ayspeo.com.
Okay, wonderful. And with that, we have to take a break. Stay tuned. We have a lot more to talk about. We'll be right back.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats, and chairs in the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Four Seasons, Braxton, Color, and Capri. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of American-made Telescope, Berlin Gardens, Lloyd Flanders, and Pollywood, all with no tariff ever. And we also specialize in fire pits, outdoor rugs, umbrellas, and replacement cushions. Right now, we're having a huge floor sample sale with lots of great markdowns on everything you need for your Florida home, including all pictures, lamps, and accessories half price. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Don't forget to visit our outlet store directly across the street, filled with lots of name brand closeouts and sale items. And visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Welcome to Riverside Theater's Comedy Zone, where the comedy is wild, untamed, and downright hilarious. Hit the zone this Friday and Saturday night at 6:30 and 8:30 for the Treasure Coast's best live stand-up comedy show, featuring nationally recognized comedians with cabaret-style seating and food and drink table service. Buy tickets at riversidetheater.com and get ready for a night of non-stop laughs.
At Evergreen Media, we know the people, the businesses, and the work needed to take your marketing to the next level. We know where locals go to shop, work, and have fun.
We're here to focus on your local advertising so you can focus on your business. This is our home. This is our business. Evergreen Media. We market, you grow.
Welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and I am with Lacey Staniewicz and Abby Brandenburg of At Your Service Employee Leasing. We're going to just dive right back into the conversation. I want to just switch up my questions a little bit because we were talking about the fact that we have small and medium-sized businesses here on the Treasure Coast, and you work with, companies of all sizes. And I'm going to talk about the very small in a moment, but because I don't want people to think that you only work with very small businesses. You have companies where they have hundreds of employees all the way down to a business owner of one.
Yep.
And, there are so many articles out there about businesses with one or two people, the solopreneurs, the micropreneurs, and some of them are raking in big dollars.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they're small in size revenue-wise, right? But I think what happens a lot of times when somebody starts a business and they've been around for a couple of years and the revenue is coming in, they're like, well, I'm just, paying myself through my business checking account, but they're hurting themselves in the long run. They really should pay themselves like officially. So I want you guys to talk about that. How are you helping the micro and solopreneurs out there?
I cannot speak on the workman's comp and the insurance aspect of it. However, I do think that we have all the certificates that legitimize your business and your payroll.
Okay.
So whether that be for the taxes, Social Security, the FICA, the
SUDA, right? SUDA.
So we take care of all of that automatically. We take it off your plate. It's not something you ever have to worry about. And if you need a certificate in that area, we have the access to either email it, fax it, wherever it needs to go. You just make the call, and again, it's off your plate. And I think that is so important, especially for solo and micropreneurs, because every minute of their day needs to be intentional and needs to be doing something that's moving their business forward. They don't have the extra time, energy, and effort to hand it off, or to hire somebody else. So they just call their person and it's taken care of.
And you don't want to try to do it yourself because you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You could inadvertently file something incorrectly or file something late, and then it's just a huge problem. And then there's also the business consulting aspect, which Cindy brought up during the commercial break, that when you're starting out, you don't necessarily know how to proceed. But that's something that you guys offer as well, is a business consulting service. So somebody can sit with you, Andy, whomever they're sitting with, and say, what do I do? What's my next step here? Because sometimes people think they can't afford to pay themselves. They're putting everything back into their business, but yet they can. So what would you like to say about that?
So it's agreed. Any small business owner, whether you think you're a small business owner or, you're an accidental entrepreneur, building a strong financial foundation is obviously very, very important, especially in the long run. You want to be paying into Social Security, Medicare, and taxes at the end of the year. No one likes dealing with taxes. No one. Especially if you are starting a business. And, it's no one's perfect. We see a lot of people that try to do it themselves, think they're not large enough as a company to hire someone, but really, if you can be making very costly mistakes. And
yes, please.
I just did FAFSA with my daughter, and I am here to tell you that the legalese and the wording and the verbiage and the form this and the form that, it is not made for the everyday person.
Mm-mm.
So to have a specialist on your side to be able to work with you and to explain it and why you need to use the A form versus the B form versus the Z form is so important.
Yeah.
And it just really, I don't want to say dumbs down, but it almost dumbs down the language. And I know if Andy was here, he could easily explain any form, and he probably would, in any fashion that you needed, and break it down as far as you need to.
Breathes and sleeps it. So it's
to hear him speak on these things, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes he talks and like my face just goes blank. I am like, I didn't know that was even a thing.
Right.
And I'm not even the business owner, but to be a business owner and to have somebody like that with that extensive knowledge.
Yeah.
And to also know how to fix your mistakes. I think that's key.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why I want the business owner of one or two, because that's how it can start, that you'll work with them, because we have a lot of them here. We have a lot of work from home people, the accidental entrepreneur. I smiled because that is true with a lot of people. They have a hobby and then somebody's like, oh, they take interest, and then somebody else is taking interest and they're buying and they're, and all of a sudden they're like, wow, this is a thing.
Right. And at the end of the year, legally, you're supposed to report that.
Yes.
So that's where it comes into the accidental entrepreneur. And at the end of the year, you could find yourself making these mistakes. And
yeah. So they don't have to, but the secret, and I'm going to fill you in on the secret. If you are a small business owner, medium-sized business owner, whatever, and you're not using AYS, it's, you know what? It's your fault. If you're struggling, I can say that because I'm the host of the show and I see tremendous value in this. And then workers' comp insurance. So again, when I was in recruiting and staffing, you'll have a small business owner. And I remember, I'm not going to say the name of the company, and it's a husband and wife. And then they hired someone, and it was, not manufacturing, it was in skilled trades, and they didn't have workers' comp insurance. The moment you hire someone, is it true that you need to have workers' comp insurance? Of course it is, right? And for a lot of them, they don't know where to go. And that's another thing that you guys provide. And I know you're not a walking encyclopedia for workers' comp, and I'm not asking about that, but that is important, right?
Yeah. So by Florida law, it is required if you have 3 or more employees, you must have workers' compensation insurance.
Okay.
But whether you have yourself 1 employee, you still want to CYA.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a very important thing. So Cindy said we're almost running out of time. So what I want to make sure is to give the contact information of the phone number and your URL, because you also have a free consultation that you offer?
We do.
Yes.
Okay.
So give us a call. Our phone number is 772-360-4195. And our web address is www.ayspeo.com. And if you go to that link, you can get a free consultation on the spot.
Very good. And then the area that you cover, from how far to the north, how far to the south? Is it territorial, or do you cover outside of this area as well with businesses?
We are statewide. If you are in Florida, we've got you.
Yep. Okay. So anywhere in the state of Florida, I love that. And we're growing by leaps and bounds. And a lot of people are moving here and relocating their businesses here.
Yeah.
So again, if you're not working with them, you could be hurting yourself big time. That's all that I want to say. Very quickly, I just want to say thank you again. I want people to reach out, the seniors, to Libby Weissman, seniortransitionnavigator.com, luxuryhomesofthetreasurecoast.com. And there are so many decisions to be made as a senior in how you're living now and what you want your future to look like. Call her 772-783-2800, seniortransitionnavigator.com, luxuryhomesofthetreasurecoast.com. I'm looking at the time. We are out of time. I'm Ellen Contreras, host of Treasure Coast Connector. Until next week, I miss you already.